Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Notre Dame Primetime Live. I am your host, Ryan Fravel. With me is a very special guest, Sean Morarity from the Two Irish Brothers Show on YouTube. It's been a little bit, it's been a while since we've done a show together, but it is a pleasure to have you hop on. For people wondering, Sean and Ben, they're busy right now. They've got stuff going on in life. But it's always a pleasure to have Sean on and do a show with him anytime. Sean, how you been, man? It's been a while.
I've been doing all right. I just kind of been feeling like every other Notre Dame fan right now. Not so happy with the 1-2 start. Watching certain things on the field that I know we'll get into here shortly, but it's been pretty good for the most part. Just staying busy doing the Two Irish Brothers show with my buddy Ben Wolters, and we've been trying to get a feel on this team just like everybody else and trying to figure out what's going on in certain areas. But overall, with life in general, can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, for me, sports teams have been kind of letting me down. I had high hopes for this Irish team. I still think we're trying to figure out what exactly this team is and how good this team is. It gives you hope when you see we lost on the road week 1 with a first-time starting quarterback in a hostile environment against Miami, and Miami looks like they could be back. Like the U could be back to national relevance. I think a lot of people, me personally, if I was ranking, I'd have them as the number 1 team in the country right now with the way they're playing. Texas A&M, they're a top 10 team currently. They're just coming off a bye week after getting the win against us, so we'll figure out more what they are as they get into their SEC schedule. They play Auburn at home this week, so a ranked versus ranked matchup. We'll see how they kind of stack up. And then Notre Dame, it's like you get those 2 positives, right? And you lose the games you lose the games by a total of 4 points in heartbreaking fashion, right? And you kind of, as a fan, you're obviously pissed. You're upset. You're depressed. The team didn't meet expectations. And you try to be positive about it. You're like, oh, well, you know what? Notre Dame lost by a combined four total points against 2 top 10 teams. And then you see this performance last Saturday against Purdue, and 56 points. Awesome. Great. Realistically, we probably could have scored 80 on Purdue. I honestly, with how the seasons went, I wish we would have kept our starters out there in the fourth quarter and just put it on, because I think you do need style points, especially when you give up 30. But yeah, then you look at the scoreboard, and that's the thing that the eyesore is 30 points to Purdue. And I can't remember. I don't know about you, Sean. I can't remember the last time Purdue scored 30 on Notre Dame.
Me neither. It's been a while.
So yeah, go ahead. Give me your thoughts on just everything.
Well, we said this. Ben and I said this on our recap to this game. And listen, whenever the Irish win, it's worth celebrating. I'm happy. Ben's happy. All Irish fans are happy with that aspect of it, I'm sure. And I'm going to use the same words that I used then. Not trying to be the typical fan that I hate, the typical Debbie Downer that finds stuff to complain about. But you can't ignore this. And I found a very troubling statistic that I'm not really sure how I feel about it. But we have defensively, we've allowed 98 points through three games. Now, granted, that last Purdue touchdown was in garbage time. I don't really count that, but you still have to officially count it. Mm-hmm. But 98 points that we've given up through 3 games. Last season, and I'm only including the regular season, not the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But we gave up last season, like, I believe 166 points all season. We are looking to equal that amount this year through half a season. Now, that gives me a very troubling vibe, and it sets a very troubling trend. If we're giving up 30 points to Purdue, and listen, I'm not saying that our schedule is the hardest going forward or anything like that, mm-hmm. but we have some teams on the schedule that can play and can put up some points. This weekend against Arkansas being a team like that, despite what their record says.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to win many games when one side of the ball is not doing its job. So this defense has to figure something out quick. Because listen, as much as I'm not trying to trash the offense here, but your offense can't put up 56 points every single game. It's not going to happen. So your defense is going to need to step up and help out and do its part.
Dynasty ISP, thank you for the comment. Thank you for tuning in. Says, what's up, guys? I think the defense will improve. In the end, they will perform at 75% of last season. The crazy part is, I don't even think they're performing at 10% of what the defense was last year.
No.
And that's what the alarming thing to me, right? And you can tell me your thoughts on this too, Sean, is yes, you lost Watts. Yes, you lost Kaiser. Yes, you lost Mills and you lost Cross in the interior of the defense. You lost Ben Morrison, but realistically, you didn't have Ben Morrison for a majority of last season. Anyway.
Exactly.
You are returning a majority of that team that out-physicaled Indiana, out-physicaled Georgia, out-physicaled Penn State in the second half specifically.
Yes.
And arguably out-physicaled Ohio State later in the second half of the national championship game on defense. So the thing is, like, you could say, well, Al Golden left. Cool. I would understand if you lost the entirety of the defense and you're starting with new guys. These are the same guys. Adon Schuler started last year. He's a team captain. He looks significantly worse than he was last year. Drake Bowen, love the guy. Gives you a death hit every single game. But that's about all he gives you per game now.
Yeah.
He's significantly worse.
Devontae Smith, who comes in with experience from Alabama.
Worse. You bring in Jalen Stroman from Virginia Tech, who was an All-American at Virginia Tech. All of a sudden, he's benched. He can't play. Leonard Moore, even your best corner, he got torched against Miami. You never saw that from him last year. There's a problem. And I don't know. It's easy to point to Chris Ash, right? And I do think a big problem is Chris Ash.
Yes.
Right? But I did think it was interesting when Marcus Freeman did his press conference. I want to say it was either Tuesday or Monday. And he made the comment of Sunday in our coaches meeting, the defensive coaches meeting, it was very uncomfortable. And I didn't want it to be comfortable. And he said, I flat out told him, I said, we can either do this and come together and get this thing back on track, or we can do this and it won't be good for anybody. And he also brought up the fact that the players need to buy in. Makes me wonder if the Miami game happens and you're a Christian Gray, you're a Don Schuler, you're Drake Bowen, and you played and learned under Al Golden and his style of defense and what he wanted to run for multiple years. And you saw the benefits of it. You saw the success. You went to the national championship game with playing that style of defense. A new guy comes in, and his defensive philosophy is a complete 180. And then you have the mishaps on defense against Miami. And I almost wonder if, in the players' minds, when you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds, if it's, oh, shit. Well, this new guy came in. Our defense is worse. Why can't we just go back to what the defense we ran with Al Golden? I don't want to run this defense. It doesn't put me in the best position to succeed. And I could understand, because us as fans do it. That's been the talk ever since the season started against Miami was, well, why don't they just run what Al Golden ran? Freeman, just go back and run exactly what you ran last year. And I could understand maybe the players are feeling that way.
I don't know. I mean, of course, I certainly don't think that they would, do anything like mess up on purpose or anything like that.
Yeah,
That would be so stupid. But I think not only is it a new defensive coordinator, but here's something else that's very troubling to add on to what you were just saying. Mike Mickens is the one who coaches the defensive backs in particular. He's been there with Coach Freeman from the start.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden his backfield's playing like this. What is he stepping in there and doing to he's in the defensive backfield in particular, he should be picking up on this immediately. So does Chris Ash bear full responsibility? No. But that's even more troubling. Is okay, you could give Ash a pass on the fact that okay, he's new here to Notre Dame. It's his first time or his first year with the team. Mike Mickens has been there from the start. He has no excuse for his defensive backfield to be playing like this.
And
why they're playing like this, I don't know.
And if anyone has the say so and the cachet that the players are going to listen to him, right? If you're the DB and you are Christian Gray and you're not bought into the system, you're going to listen to what Mike Mickens is going to tell you more than you are Chris Ash, right? So I kind of see where you're going there, because if you're Mike Mickens and you notice your players aren't bought into the system, that's your job as a DB's coach, and say, hey, I don't care if you don't like what we're running. Suck it up, learn it, do it, and go out there and do it. And that's you get paid to do that. The concerning thing to me is, I don't know if you saw this, but during the game, when Purdue scored that touchdown right after we'd got the kickoff return for a touchdown, and you saw the thing where Freeman takes his headset off and he's pissed, and evidently, it was Jack Sobel, I want to say, from BGI, had made a post from the sideline, and he said, the troubling thing about that play was pre-snap, you had Freeman, Mike Mickens, and Chris Ash yelling at each other, yelling at the players on the field, and you had the players on the field were confused. They were shifting late. They didn't know where they were supposed to be. They didn't know what their assignment was. You had Christian Gray and Don Schuler yelling at each other, confused.
I saw a lot of crisscross.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that. I was at the Miami game in person. The amount of times that I saw Christian Gray and Don Schuler get into it after giving up a big play on a 3rd and 13 for a first down, or a 20-yard pass, and instead of, hey man, what they did last year was pick their guys up, it was a lot of Christian Gray throwing his hands up, yelling at Don Schuler, and Don Schuler just going.
Yeah, and obviously when I was watching on TV, we're not going to see all of that.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, you're a captain. Again, I played football. I know you did. We weren't captains. But I can imagine what it was like, because we had team captains on my team. I'm sure you had team captains on your team.
You did.
There is a certain responsibility that comes with the C on your chest. And I don't know about you. And again, it's still a young season. We're only 3 games in. None of the captains, to me, have shown the responsibility and have done their job as captains through the first 3 weeks of the season. I don't see leadership. I don't. I don't know if you do. I don't know if you get a different sense. I don't.
No, I mean, it's been total chaos, my man. I don't see leadership, because let me tell you something. You bring up back when we were playing, myself a little bit longer than you.
Yeah.
We're going for me and my high school playing years were the 2000 to 2003 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something. I'm not ashamed to say it. I was not a good football player, never started a game. I was career backup all the way. And you'd only see me, this is Illinois rules we're talking here. I don't know how it is in other states, but the only time you would see me in the game is when it was, we were up by 40 and it was continuous clock and we had the game locked. That's the only time you'd see me on the field. But even though that's what my position was on the team, was a backup. Let me tell you something. Our captains, if you mess something up, it didn't matter what your position was. They'd be on you. Because listen, it's because that's what you need. I mean, it's one thing to have the coaching staff and those are the ones that you play for, directly and whatnot. They're running the show, but it says a lot more when it's one of your fellow teammates that says something to you. That should get your attention. I mean, this is your peer. This is a teammate. This is someone you play on the field with. And when they're getting pissed off, that really should set an impact on you. But if that's happening and there's no impact and there's just a bunch of egos, that's a disaster waiting to happen.
It just, to me, right? We've had this discussion in my Notre Dame group chat, and I come to we all kind of came to this agreement just watching the last 3 games. Something's off. I don't think it's the talent, because I do think from a talent perspective and from a ceiling perspective, right? I think KVA, Kingston Viliamuasa, is more talented than Jack Kaiser.
I think about him real quick. His mother's so sweet.
She is amazing.
On Twitter and
yes.
She's a wonderful lady. But go ahead, please.
Drake Bowen. He's more talented than Jack Kaiser, right? He's more talented than, I'd say, J.D. Bertrand. Guys that were team captains, right? I would say Don Schuler, he's more talented than a lot of Notre Dame safeties we've seen. Leonard Moore, he's the best damn corner in college football, for crying out loud, right? Ben Morrison himself said he's better than I am. He's going to be better than I am.
Well, and he ended up starting last year as a freshman.
Yes. And what I don't understand is that, you know what the difference is? Those guys might be more talented. They lack the leadership of those guys. We don't have an Xavier Watts that, when things got tough, instead of pouting, hands on hips, getting in guys' faces, picking them up on the sideline. On the offensive side, when things went to shit, you had Pat Coogan, 4 quarters of FU football.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that? Like, and what's crazy to me is ironically enough, I think your biggest leaders on this team so far, from what I've seen, is CJ Carr, Jeremiah Love, and Jordan Faison. One of them, his career started off as a walk-on. The other one is his first year starting. He's a redshirt freshman.
Yes.
He's 19. He might be 20. I think he's 19. 19 years old. And the other one's Jeremiah Love, who, again, I don't know why he wasn't voted captain. I heard that it was something where he said he declined it, which I respect it, but I also kind of wonder why.
It's hard to figure out, yeah.
But when your redshirt freshman quarterback is your biggest leader on the team, nothing against CJ. That's great. I like that, right? He's wise above his years, right?
Oh, he is making bounds. He's way ahead where he should be right now.
But that's a problem.
Yeah, he's only been in the system a year.
Yeah,
starting on his second this year.
Like when you have a redshirt freshman, like I don't know if you heard the story about him at Miami when he threw that pick. He came to the sideline, instead of hanging his head, pouting, he said, "Guys, that's on me." And he went up and down the offensive line and the receivers, and he said, "But guess what? When we go out there, we're going to go out there and we're going to go put some points on the damn board." That's leadership.
I didn't know that, but yes,
yeah.
He took the words right out of my mouth. If he did that, that's leadership.
And that's a freshman. Like that's crazy to me. Like that is some Brady Quinn level stuff, right? Like it's just concerning. And again, I don't know what you do as a coaching staff, right, where you can fix that. I don't think that's necessarily something you can fix. You know what I mean?
And here's the thing too. There's got to be some kind of divide somewhere. But here's what I don't get though. And we saw this a lot. I should probably let you answer that question.
Ryan, who had the QB on the RPO TD for Purdue to their QB? Christian Gray. Yeah, the one where there was, which by the way was a great play, but that was Christian Gray. Yeah, which Christian Gray, I'm sure you gave him a lot of breaks last year for the bad games he had, the USC game and the Ohio State game, right? I did too. I find it really hard to defend him after what we've seen so far.
Ben and I have been saying the same things, and we've talked about it. Yeah, he's had a full year to improve. He's had a full year, and it's like there's been regression.
He can't cover. This is good. He can't cover anything right now. I don't even think he can cover grass right now. But yeah, go ahead and finish what you.
I was trying to think of something clever to say, like he couldn't cover a turd in ice cream sprinkles or get burned by a snail. But it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
I used those already. No, I was just going to finish saying with the whole divide. When I started talking about divide, there's got to be some kind of divide somewhere, whether it's between players and coaches, amongst players, whatever. Because see, here's the thing: unlike Brian Kelly when he was here, who made it. Just he couldn't have made it more open when he was talking. Like when he was talking about like the first few years that when he was with us, he said, "Oh, when my guys get here, when my guys do this, my guys do that." Forgot about the guys who were already there, pretty much counting them out. We haven't really seen that with Marcus Freeman. Like he embraced all the guys who were still here under the that were under the Kelly regime. And he's never done that. He's always kept these guys together as one, basically taking on the role of, okay, I didn't have to recruit you, but you're still my guy. I may not have recruited you, but you're my guy.
Mm-hmm.
So that hasn't been a problem. Freeman has taken all these guys, Kelly regime, his regime, they're all one. But still, there's got to be a divide somewhere. Something is off, is what I'm getting at. So I'm agreeing with you.
And I do feel like it's more on the defense. Like I think the offense to me.
Aside from a few Denbrock stupidity moments.
Yes.
Why, I'm not trying to change the subject, but what we saw on Friday or on last Saturday, that was a beautiful game plan.
Perfect.
What was he doing
Chef's kiss.
But first game it's all screen pass. Second game it's all wildcat. Then the third game, he quits the cute shit, and that's saying I hate the cute shit. I hate this. What are you trying to do? Open up the playbook and use your talents.
I almost wonder.
So I don't think he's out coaching himself.
I almost wonder if he overthought and thought that the CJ Carr being a first-year starter against two ranked opponents, I almost wonder if that was too big of a concern, and he didn't trust CJ to. Which again, I understand, right? Because none of us knew what he was, but after the Miami game, I left that game thinking, okay, CJ is able to do anything you ask him to do.
Yeah, we've got something here.
And I thought he held him back a little bit. Now, is the two interceptions that he threw against Miami and A&M, are those on Denbrock?
No.
Those are freshman mistakes that every single freshman, it doesn't matter if you are Patrick Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, Tom Brady, every freshman quarterback is going to make those types of mistakes. They're going to leave. And I think he learned from it.
Well, and also they were tipped too.
Yeah. That one that where he to the A&M, he's going to learn that he should have just taken off and ran. Right. Wow. But again, I do think the offense has been the least of our concerns. I mean, it's crazy to think, right? Because I remember us talking about this on your show about when Notre Dame was looking for a new OC when we lost Jared Parker. I wanted Notre Dame to be able to score at will. Whether it's running the ball or throwing the ball. I wanted that Deshaun Kaiser, Will Fuller type offense, and I think we've got that again. And it's nice to see, but it's crazy to think that for the longest time, right? What was the death nail for Notre Dame in games, especially big games, was turned into a shootout. Terrible for Notre Dame because that's not how they were built. This offense, I feel like it could go blow for blow with just about any offense in the country. Like, it scares me, that USC game in a few weeks. If the defense doesn't get fixed with how bad both defenses are, that might be 100 to 100.
When did basketball season start?
Yeah, exactly. Go to quadruple overtime with what was that LSU A&M game a couple years ago that went to 7 overtimes, and it was 80 to that nobody could stop anybody. I hate that style of football, but it's something we're not used to as Notre Dame fans, because Notre Dame scoring 40 was you throw a party for Notre Dame scoring 40 points. But yeah, so what do you think going forward with the Chris Ash problem? Do you agree with Freeman on I'm not going to take play calls away from him yet, and the whole I don't think it's the play calls that the issue, it's the execution?
That's a tough one, but I can say this for sure: you've got to keep Ash on a short leash. You have to. I mean, Saturday morning, if he's afternoon, depending on what time zone you're in, if that same crap is still happening and there's no improvements, Freeman has to take the reins himself. He's a defensive guy. He knows that this is unacceptable. That he knows obviously this is not what they're wanting to run. These are not the results he's wanted. You got to take the reins. This is your team. And Chris Ash, I mean, yeah, of course you can't ignore the lack of execution. Mm-hmm. But I got to be honest with you. When Coach Freeman says that after every loss, or even a win when it was sloppy, we got to execute better. It gets to the point where it's like, well, no shit. I know. Listen, I'm not dogging him for that. I know those are the answers that he has to give. I get that, because he can't go out there and say, "Oh well, that damn bastard out there, he covered this guy when he should have been covering that guy." No, he's not like that. He's not going to throw people. He's
not Brian Kelly. He's not Brian Kelly.
Yes,
and I do appreciate that about him, right? But it does. I've noticed this, and you can kind of tell me if you agree. I know a lot of people in my group chat hate listening to his press conferences because it's a bunch of word salads and big words and big terms until he finally gets to the point after 20 minutes of what he's trying to say. And it's so you said all this shit just to say, well, we just need to execute better. Yeah, it's so frustrating. It's I get it.
It's the word salad with bullshit dressing. Well, no, you know what he needs to do with this? You know what Freeman needs to do with that? He needs to approach it. And listen, I'm not trying to start anything here, but Ryan, be honest if you could tell this. But do you remember last year when they made that great run in the playoffs and got all the way to the championship game? Well, remember first off, we went 11-1. He was asked about it then. We made the playoffs announcement. He was asked about it then. We beat Indiana, asked the same question. Won the Sugar Bowl over Georgia, asked the same question. Won the Orange Bowl over Penn State, was asked the same question. And that question is this: hey, Marcus, how does it feel to be the first black head football coach of Notre Dame to go this far? Tell me that you didn't tell he was getting annoyed by that question every single time. And he just got to the point where he was saying, hey, my mom's Asian. I got to be the first Asian coach too.
Yeah,
I'm not bringing that up for like political reasons, but what I'm saying is you could visibly see him getting annoyed by that question. Like, stop asking me this question. This is not the approach that he needs to take with all his press conferences. No, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but I'm going to be honest. I'm tired.
I think part of it, right, is I think Freeman, he doesn't want to, what do you call it? He doesn't want to throw anybody under the bus, obviously, right? But I also think he doesn't want to put things out there in terms of criticism publicly, whether that's of players or coaches. He's just not the guy to do that, right?
He wants to keep behind closed doors.
He wants to keep it behind, which I respect, right? I do respect. I respect it. But there comes to a point where things are just, and you know what? We saw a little bit of it. Like I said the other day with his press conference where he's like, I've never seen him that annoyed and visibly pissed in a press conference when all the questions were about the defense. And he finally just went on a tangent and said, hey, look, we had a defensive coaches meeting yesterday. It wasn't comfortable. And I told him I didn't want it to be comfortable. I liked that. My ears perked up when I heard that. And then I start visualizing in my brain what Freeman's doing to Ash in that said meeting. And I'm like, I hope to God he was lighting into him. Like, I couldn't imagine what that conversation's like. But.
Well, it's have you ever seen the movie Clerks?
Mm-mm.
Okay. It was the first Jay and Silent Bob movie all the way back in '94, ancient times. It's about these two guys who work in a convenience store and they deal with the everyday annoyed life of working in one. Mm-hmm. One guy is very uptight. His name's Dante. The other guy is his best friend, Randall, who is just does not give a crap at all, says what's on his mind, and he actually rips into the customers. Well, and there's a part of the movie where they're talking about that, and Randall says to Dante, you know, man, you would just feel so good if you would just rip into the occasional customer. And I'd want to tell Marcus Freeman the same thing. You know, Marcus, you're a good coach. You put in so much work. There's frustrations that come with this job and anger. You'd feel so good if you would just rip into the occasional assistant coach who's not doing his job.
Yeah. I think I do remember the clip from last year. I posted it and it kind of went viral on Twitter of the clip on NBC of when it was against Miami, Ohio. Adon Schuler gets that dumb unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and Marcus Freeman rips off the headset and just starts yelling. He's going ballistic. He's crashing out on Adon and letting Adon hear it. And then people made a big deal about it. Like the next quarter, he walks over to Adon and was like, puts his hand and says, like they're talking and he's giving him a hug. Like, and people are like, he shouldn't have gave him a hug. That's coddling. And I'm like, I would rather him do that than the whole BK thing of getting all purple faced and then not saying anything to the player the rest of the game and then blaming him in the press conference.
Usually when something's made into a meme like the purple face, it's not for a good reason. And I will say this, to Brian Kelly's credit, I was at that game. It was from the South Florida game in 2011. It was pretty hot that day, so he was probably.
The team played like garbage. So I mean, you know, that was the one we lost, right?
Yes, it was great. The weather delay.
Oh yeah.
But going back to that for a second, that's something that you have to do. Yes, yell. You got to treat him like it's your kid, like it's your son. Yell at him, go ballistic, but then come back later and say, "Okay, Adon, I yelled at you for this reason." And especially when it's during a game, you know, you got to finish the game. Mm-hmm. There's always practice on Monday, I found out that these guys do practice on Sunday, the day after a game, which I didn't know that for sure. But our buddy Matt Shelton, who's a former Notre Dame wide receiver, he did tell us that and filled us in on what they do. Like, he's like, yeah, it doesn't matter if your plane arrived back home at 6 a.m. you've got stuff you're doing that day, like some practices and a couple meetings. But anyway, I digress. So all I'm saying is get through the game, and then on Monday or Sunday, give him some punishment.
Yeah, I do. I would find it interesting. Have you talked to Matt about his thoughts on the start of the season? Has he kind of given you an increment?
I mean, since the 3 games in,
Yeah.
I haven't really asked him his thoughts on. Well, he was on with us for the Texas A&M preview, and he just said that it was a hard fought game. A lot of guys are young, new faces. So that first game, I think everybody was saying that from Miami.
Yeah.
But no, since then I haven't had a chance to ask him what his thoughts are. But he's going to be back on soon.
Well, if you could put in a good word, we would love to have him on the show, even if you want to hop on that time. I'd love to ask him some questions about that because that'd be interesting to kind of get some insight into that.
No, he's ours. I'm kidding. No, I say it because he's been on with us, which holy cow, like 7 times already.
Yeah,
that's the most that any former Notre Dame player has been on with us, and he's been a man. You guys would love him. He's an absolute blast to talk to.
Oh, I've watched some of the interviews. Yeah, really quick, I'm gonna kind of do this promo real quick. The Voice of College Football has merch now. I don't know if you guys watching know that. Every order that you guys do for a hoodie, a hat, goes towards supporting this channel. If you want to go over there, get yourself a hat, hoodie, t-shirt, they're really nice, really quality. Make sure you use the code Voice of College Football Notre Dame at checkout. And man, like I said, every dollar that we get from this goes towards the Fire Chris Ash Fund. No, I'm joking. It doesn't actually go towards that. I wish it did. Anyways, I do want to point out this one stat. I thought it was interesting. And it's not, I shouldn't say interesting. I don't know if interesting is the best word. Horrifying, I think is a good way to put it. So this is where Notre Dame's offense and defense ranks in the country. The defense is on the right. Let's just say the color red is not good. Scoring defense, 32.7 points per game. That ranks 118th out of 136 FBS schools. Points per play, 0.48. That ranks 114th out of 136 teams. Total defense, they're giving up 399 yards per game. That ranks 101st in the country. Yards per play, they're giving up almost 6 yards per play. That's 99th in the country. The only bright spot, third down conversion. Yay. We're holding teams to 32% on third down. Great. Doesn't matter when they're scoring 0.48 points a game per play. Rushing defense, meh, right? It's in the yellow, 41 in the country. Yards per carry, 3.4, meh. Negative play percentage. This you would think the red means good. No, that means that we are barely getting any negative plays on defense. 5%. That's great, isn't it? What was it? Explosive rush.
I find this stat funny.
Which one?
Explosive rush. It doesn't look like we've been getting much rush on the quarterback to begin with. How are we in the green for that?
I think what it is we're getting a lot of hurries, like quarterback hurries, but it's not attributing to actual sacks.
Ooh, hurries.
Yeah.
I've never understood that category. Great, you're getting the hurry. Are you getting the sack? Are you stopping the play? No. Some of these stats can just be complete. I'm just going to say it. Some of these stats can be completely retarded.
Oh, yeah. Passing defense. We're giving up almost 300 yards in the air per game. That ranks 132nd out of 136 teams. You know who has a better pass defense than Notre Dame right now? Akron. You know who else? Kennesaw State. You know who else? Tulsa.
Well, I would say out of 130. I would say out of 136 teams, a lot of crap teams do.
Yeah.
You could put some high school. You could probably put some high school teams in this category.
We have the worst. We have the worst pass defense in the state of Indiana out of all the FBS teams.
And you got to remember too, some of these teams at the FBS level, they barely pass the ball. That's probably why we're only 4 spots above last. Navy doesn't pass. Army doesn't pass. I don't know. Is the Citadel playing FBS now?
No, they don't.
Okay. Well, I know there's a couple other teams that don't pass a lot.
Yards per attempt, we're giving up 8 yards per attempt. That's 109th in the nation. Quarterback rating, 142nd. That ranks in the FCS ranks. Let that sink in.
Somebody's going to be a Heisman because of us.
Completion percentage. We're allowing quarterbacks to complete 58% of their passes on average. That's middle of the road, man.
Yeah, Jake, the quarterback from Nicholls State, is the Heisman Trophy contender. Where did he come from? Oh, they played Notre Dame last week. Go ahead. Sorry.
The final one, explosive pass. We're giving up 6.8 explosive pass plays per game.
Explosive pass.
Yeah,
that's me right now because I'm gonna have to. All this stress has caused me to have a freaking kidney stone, so I'm gonna need some cranberry juice to pass it. It's got to be explosive.
Oh man, you know what? The only bright spot though. Look at the left side.
Yes.
I see a whole lot of green. Besides the sacks per attempt, which I believe that's mainly from the Miami game.
Yeah.
Because they were getting hella pressure on Carr that game. But yeah, interesting stat. We'll see how that improves. Hopefully it does as the season goes on.
Can the squares on the right hopefully turn a little more yellow?
Yeah, if we could just get yellow, right? With the offense we've got, I feel like we'd be pretty good. Really quick before we get into our Notre Dame Arkansas preview, a word from our guy, Mark.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the voice of college football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the voice of college football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.
Appreciate that, Mark.
I got to say real quick that Matt Zemek, he had quite the stash going on. I loved it. That's awesome.
Love the stash, man. Speaking of putting in your bets, let's get to the game. Let's get to the game preview here and pick them. Now, these odds are powered by our friends over at Novig. Make sure you guys, if you guys are into, you guys want to get these odds, go hit the over, which I personally think is a guarantee for this game. I would take Notre Dame minus 4.5 as well. If you want to go ahead and get some good odds, go over to our friends over at Novig. Make sure you use code VOCFBND when you sign up and when you create your account. Just make sure you are 21 years of age or older. Participants must be 21 years or older. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now, according to our friends over at Novig, Notre Dame is a 4.5-point favorite on the road in Fayetteville. The over-under is at 64.5. So they're expecting another shootout for this Notre Dame team. Don't know if my heart can take it.
The way Notre Dame's defense has been trending, take the over.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. So what are your thoughts about this game going in? Obviously, Talon Green, I think he scares the ever-living crap out of me, right? He's 6'6", runs a 4.4 40. And while he makes some of the dumbest decisions I've seen from a quarterback, at times he makes some of the best decisions I've seen from a quarterback, some of the best throws. So a lot of good, a lot of bad. The reason that Arkansas is sitting here 2-2 is because they're putting up a lot of points, but they're also shooting themselves in the foot a lot. They lost to Ole Miss late, fumbling inside the red zone, and then did the exact same thing against Memphis last week. So this Arkansas team, while they are 2-2, could very easily be sitting here 4-0. So if you're Notre Dame, you can't sleep. But what are your thoughts on this game going in?
Well, one thing I want to say first before I get to the game, to everybody watching, and I'm saying this because I got my buddy Ben in mind, who I do our show with. Just because I give my opinion here, make sure you guys still come to our show. And I'm not trying to give a cheap plug for us, Brian. Don't think that. This is your show.
No, for sure. I mean, Sean's a great guy. Sean and Ben, they talk Notre Dame football. If you love Notre Dame football, right, and you like our show, go over to the Two Irish Brothers and go drop them a sub, like, and comment. They do great stuff over there. My guy Sean is awesome. Please go show them some love and support. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for that, dude. But my point is we have not done our preview yet for this week, and all I'm trying to tell people. What the hell is that? I think. See here, I'm telling you guys the truth. I share a place with my brother. This is where we live together. We love each other, but sometimes we can't stand one another. He's doing something out in the kitchen right now that's disturbing. But anyway, I digress. So, like I was saying, Ben and I have not done our preview for this game yet. So what I want everybody to know is make sure to go over, even though you're going to hear my opinion, make sure you go over and hear his opinion. So that's I'm just kind of saying it out of guilt to a little bit because we haven't done ours yet this week. Because usually we do ours Wednesday or Thursday, and we haven't got on our preview yet. But still, make sure you come hear his point of view at least, because he has some content too. But so here's how I've been seeing Arkansas as a whole for a number of years now. This is a team that, even though they haven't had the best success in recent history, this team can play. This team is full of firepower. They have played some of the best and pushed them to the limits. Not always beaten the best, but like you said, they put themselves in position to win. But they find a way to make a crucial mistake at the wrong time, and it ends up costing them. But for starters, this is a team that can put up points. I mean, they've always had a pretty explosive offense every time I've watched them anyway. And on top of that, it's the first time they've ever played we've ever played one another, Notre Dame, Arkansas. It's in Fayetteville. This got canceled. This game was supposed to be played earlier, but it got canceled due to, I think they were supposed to play in 2020, the COVID year. I think. I could be wrong. But regardless, I know it had to get pushed back. That much I do know. So they've been waiting for this game for a long time. Yeah, they're gonna be playing in the Arkansas heat. Their crowd's gonna be on fire. It's Fayetteville. Woo Pig Suey will be full throttle. I know you're gonna be eating some of that Woo Pig Suey, which I know you said you're not used to eating, a whole hog off a spit. But this is gonna be a battle. I don't care if they're only 2-2. This is a team that could easily be 4-0 or at the very least 3-1. Because Ole Miss, they pushed them to their limits. Yeah. So I expect to go up against a prime opponent because they're going to throw out all the stops at us. So our defense, this is where they have to be ready. They have to be ready. They have to come together and gel, because that loud crowd down in Fayetteville is not gonna help any. So
it's both of these teams. You could argue have the same story, right?
pretty much, yeah.
Three of them, both of them were competitive in all their games. They lost both games by one score or less. And what was the key factor in why they lost both of those games? Critical late game errors.
Yes.
So while we could sit up here and say, oh, they're 2-2, like you said, they lost to Memphis, a G5 team, which, by the way, I had Memphis as my G5 playoff team heading into the year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they lost to a very good Memphis team. This isn't a Notre Dame NIU situation. I think Memphis is really good. But as Notre Dame very easily could be 3-0 right now, Arkansas very easily could be 4-0 right now. And again, I agree with you. What is the key thing when Notre Dame goes on the road anywhere, especially for the first time, especially in SEC country? Packed house, loud crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And especially if that game's close, you don't think that crowd, those hillbillies drinking all that moonshine all day, oh, it's going to be, you know what I'm talking about. You've been around hillbillies drunk. It gets pretty rowdy.
I've been down south before.
Yeah.
But believe me, anybody from watching from the south, there's a trailer park right around the corner from my house. And when I was a lot younger, like late teens, early 20s, I was a pizza delivery guy. I delivered there a few times. So yes, rednecks and hillbillies do exist up here in Illinois.
Yeah, we just put them all in the trailer parks, though. That's the difference. Really quick, I do want to say this. The one thing I do think is key going into this game, right? Arkansas has one of the worst rush defenses in the nation. I think the stat was they're giving up over 6.5 yards per carry to opposing teams. They gave up over 200 plus rushing yards to Memphis. They gave over 150 plus to Ole Miss the week before. So if there was ever a game where you just feed Jeremiah Love, feed Price, this is the game.
Yeah.
This is the game. Memphis ran all over Arkansas. Ole Miss did the same. The thing is, right, Notre Dame's defense has been atrocious. We can all agree. Even with how bad they've looked, because I've watched every Arkansas game except the first one they had, which was like against an FCS team. Their defense is way worse. Like, way worse.
Well, everybody talks about wanting Notre Dame to join a conference. This game has the makings of a Big 12 matchup. You know what?
Yeah.
You know the joke that I've been making for years about the Big 12. They recruit some of the best offensive players in the country, but when it comes to recruiting defense, I think they pick the players on the bench.
Oh, yeah.
That's why you see so many barn burners in that conference.
Which, by the way, that Texas Tech-Utah game, side note, that wasn't a Big 12 game. That was actually a defensive game. And I never thought.
I know.
I don't know about you, I never imagined I would ever put the two things together in a sentence. Texas Tech, defense. Never once thought I would ever see those two things together. But I love it. You're running an air raid, and you got defense. Awesome.
Yeah, I know, right? And listen, I'm not saying that those kind of games don't happen everywhere. They happen in the SEC, of course, but you definitely see a lot more low-scoring games in the SEC than you do the Big 12.
Yeah.
So it's just something I've always liked to have fun with.
So, going into this game, right? What would you like to see? Like, what if your ideal of points to hold Arkansas to prove to you that there's been improvement from this defense? What would be the kind of range for that?
I want to see them, our defense that is, I want to see them for starters put some pressure from that front seven on the Arkansas offense. We haven't seen a lot of pressure from the Notre Dame front seven.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's killing us because I'm probably cursing the team just by even mentioning his name. Do you remember how atrocious it was in the short Brian Van Gorder tenure?
Oh, Jesus.
There's a meme. There's a meme that's going around right now. It's like one of those Scooby-Doo memes where they said, all right, let's find out who this person really is. It's a picture of Chris Ash's body, but they pull the mask off and it's Van Gorder. But that's where it starts. And you could say this that I say, and I know I kind of say this every preview that we do over on our show. It starts in the trenches. Well, we have to win that battle on defense. We have to get that pressure up front. Maybe, just maybe, it'll take the pressure off our defensive backfield. Maybe they'll help Christian Gray and Don Schuler and Leonard Moore get more comfortable. I don't know.
Now, the one concern with that, right, and Freeman talked about this in his press conference, is Taylor Green can run. And he just killed every team he's played. And Lane Kiffin said after their game, when asked about why they couldn't stop Taylor Green running, and he said, me and Pete Golding, their DC over at Ole Miss, we threw everything in the kitchen sink at him defensively, and we couldn't stop him running the ball. That's how good Taylor Green is as an athlete. If you allow a quarterback that can run like that and you get a little too over-aggressive with pass rush, there's a lane right up the middle where he can just take off. So you got to be concerned. You got to be very concerned about that. Freeman talked about how they got caught in between a lot with Marcel Reed, where they were scared to bring extra blitzers because they didn't want him to take off, right, and leave the middle of the field open. But then they got too passive and they didn't bring anybody at all.
Yeah, and
he just had all day back there to run around and throw. So there's multiple problems with that when you have a running quarterback. As my cat wants to do this. Anyway, but yeah. So kind of giving our thoughts on this. I personally think for the defense, I'd like to see us hold Arkansas to below 28. I think that's a good start, especially with how explosive Arkansas is. I want to see us run the ball down their throat, impose our will, right? I'll let you go first since you're the guest. Go ahead and give me your score prediction for the game.
Well, I have Arkansas's stats up right now, and just looking down the board with Taylor Green, I mean, he leads both in passing and rushing. But the thing is, when it comes to rushing and receiving, you look behind him in the rushing game. You got a few guys here who can move the rock. Mike Washington Jr., Braylon Russell, their numbers scare me. All these receivers and how spread out they are, and so that tells me he does a great job on his guys.
Omega Blake.
This is the
name for the edges.
This is the fourth straight game where we played an opponent with some really cool name. Like it was Ignacion from Texas A&M. There was a dude named Nitro for Purdue.
Nitro Tuggle.
Yeah, from Georgia. Yes, Nitro. Yeah. His name was Nitro, and this guy Omega
Blake.
Listen. I know I should be angry at our opponent. This is bear down week. That is a cool ass name. I like it.
The A&M was the one that killed us. What was it Carver or something like that?
Yeah. The one dude's name was Ignacio.
Casey Concepcion.
Concepcion, that's who I was thinking of. Yes.
Yeah.
That's who I was thinking of. Not
NC State fans.
Ignacio.
Well, because he was originally at NC State. NC State fans called him the Immaculate Concepcion.
These parents, man, now that's those parents I give all the credit in the world to because they have some good taste in names.
Imagine being at hospital, you got your newborn, and you're like, man, what would you like to name him? Nitro.
Yeah. It's like old school American Gladiators. Because you had Nitro and Turbo, Gemini.
Yeah.
Now,
Or was it?
so this guy, Omega Blake, does he have a brother named Optimus?
Well, he needs Alpha because you have Alpha, Omega. You got to have an Alpha. So I don't know. Maybe would you have a girl and you name the girl Alpha? I feel like that'd be backwards.
No, that
No.
would be backwards. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
She maybe you give her what was the fighter girl's name from He-Man? She-Ra?
She-Ra.
Yeah, name her She-Ra. There you go. But so getting back aside from cool names.
Oh, wait a minute. I just realized this. Omega is for a girl. Alpha's for a male. Omega is for the. So okay. Well, maybe they screwed him.
Well, I was just thinking of Transformers, the cartoon back in the 80s, not the current ones. But there was a character named Omega Supreme who was he transformed into a rocket ship. So I don't know. They're cool names regardless.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, so getting back to the stats here.
Yeah.
The receiving core with Mr. Omega. You can tell that Green does a great job at finding his receivers because overall these offensive numbers scare the ever living shit out of me. Mm-hmm. So our defense has to be ready. And I agree, if you can hold these guys to 28 points or less, you take advantage of that stat with their being unable to stop the run. I like this one, but I would definitely expect another heart attack, unfortunately.
With the defense being so bad, do you almost wonder if, because their run defense is so bad, Notre Dame purposely schemes it to where you keep Taylon Green in the offense off the field as much as possible? Even though Notre Dame could probably score at will against Arkansas, do you almost try to not purposely not do that, but have your game plan set up to where you have play calls designed for longer drives to keep Taylon Green in the offense off the field?
Well, here's a perfect example of what you're talking about. And I know I've probably said this many other times that we've done a show together. My high school team, we ran the wing T offense, and the way that's set up, the quarterback, roughly 2 or 3 running backs normally. That offense is purposely set up to get 4 yards at a time or more. Yeah. And it's not uncommon when it's really working. It's not uncommon to go on 7, 8, even 9-minute drives.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how, the program's kind of struggled in recent history, but when it works, it works. And that's how my high school's had a lot of success that it has, is going on those long 8, 9-minute drives and keeping your opponent off the field. So yeah, I don't know if Freeman and his staff have that same idea, but it'd be worth looking into to have that kind of package set off to the side where you try to do that.
I also think this is the game where if you win the toss, it's a game where you want to defer. Like that would be I
agree.
I think with how your defense has been, how your offense has been, I think you want to do that. All right. Score prediction. Obviously, I know we're both going to go Notre Dame here. But what is your final score prediction for this game?
I'm taking into account all the factors: our explosive offense, our 2 explosive running backs, their explosive offense, it being in their territory. I'm going to say Notre Dame 42, Arkansas 26. But I'd like to see more than that.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go Notre Dame 49, Arkansas 31. I don't think I want them to. I would like to see them hold them under 28. I just have a hard time seeing it. I do think, though, that Arkansas, because they've done it all 4 games, right? I just think it's part of their identity to have those moments where they shoot themselves in the foot, right? And I trust our offense to not have the same mistakes.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where I think it's going to be a close game, right? Maybe heading into the late third, and then say Taylor Green throws an interception or they fumble again. Notre Dame gets a score, it goes up by 10, or something like that. And that's kind of how it ends. But like I said, I'll be there in person. So I'm hoping for a Notre Dame win. I'm 0-1 right now this season going to a Notre Dame game.
I haven't been to one yet, so.
Oh, good. But anyway, I want to shout out again. Thanks to our partners over at Novig. If you guys want to go ahead and get these odds, go drop your bets. Again, I think the over is pretty easily going to hit. Use a VOCFB. It's your promo code. Make sure you're 21 years or older. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. And thank you for Novig for sponsoring the channel. All right. Well, guys, that has been our show for today. Again, huge shout out to Sean for hopping on. It was kind of a last second thing. I do appreciate you hopping on in place of our other Sean and Ben. Anyways, guys, go make sure you go. Sean gave his thoughts here. Please go show love and support to the Two Irish Brothers show on YouTube. Go watch him and Ben as they do their pregame preview and prediction as well. Anyway, Sean, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to have you on, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, when anybody, whether it's obviously you and I have been familiar with one another for several years now. We've become pretty good friends. But whenever somebody asks me to make an appearance, I'm always happy to do it. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing this stuff, and it's really great. And thank you so much for having me. And as I just wanted to say one thing too with my prediction, it's not one that I wanted to make, but I just have a good feeling I'm going to find something to be angry about on Saturday.
I do too.
So I might all I'm trying to do is like prepare myself mentally up here for that.
Oh yeah,
like you damn mother son of a.
Oh man! All right, well, for all the 75 people watching right now, make sure you go over to the Voice of College Football Notre Dame channel. Drop a sub, like, comment. Do the same over Two Irish Brothers show on YouTube. As always, guys, stay safe. God bless. And as always, go Irish.